Hi again. I've just been thinking recently about some of the people we know who have lost loved ones recently. And I'm sure many of us know what it's like to lose a loved one and how awful it is. And it's awful even in normal times, and maybe even if you were expecting that person to die, it's still a shock. And how much worse it is at the moment that we can't actually comfort each other, at least not physically, which is so important at times of bereavement. And it got me to thinking about some verses in the Bible, and particularly in 2 Corinthians chapter 1. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verses 3 and 4 say, "Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our troubles, so that," and we'll come on to the next part of the verse in a minute. It's just those words. God comforts us, and he comforts us in all our troubles so that we can do something. As I say, we'll come on to it in a minute. Those verses then made me think about what it actually means for God to comfort us, and how does he really know us that well to comfort us when perhaps we're not thinking that he does, perhaps we don't feel it. How can we be sure that he does? And I came across a verse in Psalm 116 that I must have read before, but I just skipped over. And in Psalm 116, verse 15, it says this: "The Lord cares deeply when his loved ones die." And that verse has really just struck me recently with so much death around. I just think it's wonderful that the psalmist can say, "The Lord cares deeply when his loved ones die." And notice the phrase, it's deep, it's an intimacy and a closeness that God has with us. And we know that when his loved ones die, they go to be with him. We're sure of that. He's promised us that. But he still cares deeply, and he cares deeply for those that the loved ones leave behind. And of course, this is shown very appropriately in Jesus when he went to Bethany to visit Mary and Martha and Lazarus, who he knew had died. And Jesus knew what he was going to do. He was absolutely sure that Lazarus was going to live again because Jesus was going to raise him. But in John chapter 11, verses 33 to 36, it says this: "When Jesus saw her weeping," and that's Mary, "and saw the other people wailing with her, a deep anger welled up within him, and he was deeply troubled. 'Where have you put him?' he asked them. They told him, 'Lord, come and see.' Then Jesus wept. The people who were standing nearby said, 'See how much he loved him.'" Jesus was angry at death. He was angry that Lazarus had been taken by death, even though he knew that he was going to raise Lazarus again and that Lazarus was going to live. But Jesus wept. He deeply cares for his loved ones, and he deeply cared for Mary and Martha and the people who loved Lazarus. So today, I just want to thank God for his compassion. Thank him that even if we can't physically be with those we love who have lost loved ones, we can pray that God will be very close to them and that they will allow God to comfort them. So going back to those verses in 2 Corinthians and that "so that" phrase, it says, "So the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble, with the comfort we ourselves have received from God. So that's a real encouragement to us to comfort those who are in trouble, whether it's bereavement or financial worries or worries about being alone or worries about this lockdown situation, troubles with mental health. But we can comfort others because we ourselves are comforted by the great comforter, our Lord Jesus Christ. It's really good to be able to talk to you, and I hope you're all doing okay. Bye.